Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning.
We're lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost. I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined, as always, by the Father of the Year runner-up 2 years in a row, Adam Busher.
Look, those cases are still pending.
Yeah. Until the paternity test comes out. Hey, Adam, do you look at the news?
Yeah, occasionally.
The news? You've heard of the news? So there was this little thing in the news recently, at least when we're recording this in November, where the World Food Program basically told Elon Musk that $6 billion would solve all of the world hunger. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about this, yes.
Yeah, and Elon was basically like, well, show me the math, and I'll give you the money. So I was having a conversation with a totally real friend of mine who absolutely exists, and wanted me to ask you if you think that a Lost Rewatch podcast would contribute to solving world hunger.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Unless I have to show math, then no.
Ah, shit! Foiled again by math. Today we're talking about Special, the 14th episode of Season 1 and the 14th episode overall. Our centric characters are the island's youngest survivor, Walt, and the world's best parking brake, Michael. Special takes place on the 26th and 27th days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Adam.
Yes.
You got that recap for me, baby?
I do got that recap for you, baby.
Let me hear it, baby.
The one that got away. On the island, John Locke, Boone Carlyle, and Michael Dawson struggle with establishing boundaries. Dr. Jack Shepard does some actual work before telling everyone on the island that their ideas are bad. Kate Austen and James Sawyer Ford appear for no good reason, and Charlie Pace almost makes a good decision.
Almost.
Meanwhile, in the before times, Michael and his partner have a baby. But then Michael doesn't have a baby. Michael prepares to get his son back, but first he works on his impression of Brad Pitt from Meet Joe Black. We finally found out that mom's name is Susan. And then Brian has a baby. And then Brian doesn't have a wife. Will Locke and Michael make nice? Did the writers give the women enough to do? Should there be a remake of 3 Men and a Baby starring Locke, Boone, Michael, and Walt? Let's find out. It's Special here on Lost on Lost. We have a guest.
We do?
Just like last week and the week before and the week before. Please welcome to the show, first-time listener, first-time guest, Jenny Hoks.
Yeah!
It took so much in me not to audibly just laugh at that whole thing.
Jenny, so why don't you fill in the audience a little bit with sort of your history with the ABC television show Lost?
Okay, so I watched, I think, seasons 1 through 4, and then went to college and never finished. But
Wait, Lost in college?
Lost. But then just a couple years ago, when I was on hiatus from work, I was like, hey, I never finished that show. So I binged watched it all the way through. So I am familiar with the overall idea of it.
Sure.
Excellent.
So Jenny, what sort of stuff do you like to watch? What are you typically into?
Oh my God, I'm a huge murder person. not
I think they're called murderers. Oh God.
Yeah, I love watching documentaries about crime, and I love watching adaptations about real life events. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a downer, but I enjoy it. So I think I turned out okay.
My partner Kai is the exact same way. There's something that y'all are just drawn to that. That's
I don't
fine.
know. I don't know what it is. James is the comedy romance watcher, and I'm the thriller, suspenseful murdery watcher, so there's a lot of days where I'm watching stuff by myself because he's like, I just can't do it.
Well, that's why you're cooler.
Thanks.
So, Jenny, you work in the film and television world, is that correct?
I do, yeah. So I am an assistant editor, aspiring to be an editor, and I work on TV shows, mainly in the CW world right now. I have worked on shows like Outlander and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But yeah, right now I just came off of All American, and now I'm on a new season 1 show. Just basically, they give me the footage and I organize it, and my editor cuts it, and sometimes I get to cut some scenes, and I get to sound design and score, and it's a lot of fun. I like it. Because
didn't you get to edit or co-edit one, like the finale of Arrow, was it?
Yeah, the last episode of Arrow I got to co-edit.
Very cool.
Yeah, I can say confidently that's the only episode of Arrow I've watched because I knew you edited it, so I was like, I gotta check this shit out. Yeah. All right. Y'all want to get into some Lost?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's get into this shit. Special originally aired on January 19th, 2005. It was written by David Fury and directed by Greg Yatanis. We've seen both of these gentlemen before. David Fury wrote for the wildly successful 2017 live action adaptation of The Tick, and Greg Yatanis directed Dune.
Wait, what?
Excuse me, Children of Dune, starring Alec Newman. You know, Alec Newman.
Say what?
Yeah, Alec Newman, that guy, from Children of Dune. We start out like a bunch of fucking episodes of Lost have started out with an eye. I'm really getting sick of this fucking trope, Adam. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna start taking a shot every time they start out with the eye. If you had to take probably the top 10 starting shots of, like, most common starting shots from college films, like, an alarm clock is going to be one, and I feel like an eye opening is definitely in the top 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Jenny's seen one or two of those in film school.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Michael's looking around, he's looking for Walt.
Again. I have in parentheses on my note.
Seen this a couple of times. And he runs into Charlie, and they have the world's worst NPC conversation ever. There's a shitload of just folks walking around in this episode. Just like, I'm walking through the woods. You seen the bags? No. Have you seen Walt? No, I'm looking for the bags. You seen the bags? No, I'm looking for Walt.
These two are literally not listening to each other.
Honestly, Michael doesn't listen at all this episode.
Thank you.
I will say.
And you wonder why Susan wanted to leave him.
Jack wanders in also.
Yeah.
Humping firewood, apparently.
Yeah. Like you said, he's actually doing something. Like, it's nice to see Jack working for a change.
Contributing. Hurley wanders in.
Yeah, lets us know that there's going to be a golf tournament for the last of the deodorant.
Yep, that's good. Jack and Michael pass. They've got more important stuff to do, firewood, and continuing the search for Walt. This must be an early days sort of Walt search party, because nobody volunteers to join him. He's solo mission searching for Walt.
Right. And Hurley is basically just gives a little Hurley tidbit here about how, like, yeah, he hates being a dad, doesn't he?
Yeah. Hurley, I noticed, like, Hurley is the only one I feel like that can, like, zone in on Michael and be like, yeah, he doesn't like to be a dad.
Well, and that's very much Hurley, just like as a character. He's very, he's an empath. He really is, and he's just like zoning. He can tune into how people are feeling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Flashback, crib shopping. Hey guys, why is it a crib when it's a crib, but as soon as you put a top on it, it's a cage?
I think cribs are always cages.
Anywho. But yeah, they're crib shopping, and basically the only real substance out of this is that Michael says that he wants to name the baby Walt after his dad.
Well, I mean, there's some other stuff here too. They're not married.
Yeah.
She's gonna be the breadwinner.
Okay, you're right.
She's gonna be a lawyer. Yep.
And yeah, not only do we get the thing that they're not married, you get the sense that she doesn't want to get married.
Yeah,
because he said something like, "Oh, so that's why you won't marry me."
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some, I don't know.
So we cut back to the island. Johnny Locke showing Walt how to use a knife.
And sucking at it.
Yeah.
Well, Walt sucks at it.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
But also, like, John Locke's whole thing is like, see it. You got to see it in your eye. You got to see it in your mind's eye. You know what that is? And while that's important, yeah, let's talk about physical technique, because my man's throwing all from the elbow and not rotating his hips at all.
Thank you. Knife throwing with a regular knife is very hard to do. When you're using a knife built for throwing, it's much easier. That huge fucking K-bar, like, that John Locke hands this child, this 10-year-old child, not built for throwing.
Yeah.
But looking at his arm, it was like he looked like he was throwing like a wet rag around. I was like, of course you're not going to hit anything with that. Give me a break.
Eventually, Walt takes a second crack at it and buries a knife into the tree. And he's very excited, but then his excitement is very quickly sort of extinguished due to the fact that his dad shows up and Michael is not happy.
No.
Can we talk about how Michael, throughout this whole episode, cuts everybody off? They're like, hey, we can explain. And he's like, I don't want you to explain. I make my own conclusions.
Yeah.
He, like, the entire episode just, like, kept cutting people off. And it's just like, I'm not listening. I'm like, this is why you're the worst.
It's, it's just male privilege. It's, that's how that works.
That notwithstanding, I think Michael's a little justified in being upset just because of what's going on.
I don't know.
Yes, maybe in this first instance, but as we continue, we'll see.
Well, he's justified in being angry. He's not justified in being in dealing with it the way he dealt with it.
No.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, because, like, I understand, like, you find these two grown-ass men hanging out with your son doing something that you're not necessarily comfortable with him doing, but also, y'all are on a fucking jungle island stranded. The kid should probably learn how to do something to defend himself.
This scene resolves in such an immature way also.
Yes.
Michael gets really dangerous with the knife. He's waving the knife in John Locke's face. Boone fucking tackles him.
Yeah. That's a good way to get stabbed.
Yep. And then sucks at tackling because he gets immediately punched and gets the knife taken. And then John takes the knife away. John Locke brings up the point. Okay, he's a child, yes, but yeah, he does need to be able to. He should have some element of survival skills, just like everybody else. We've been stuck here for 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
everybody's got to pitch in.
Yeah,
and he's like the youngest and smallest person on the island. If anything, he needs it the most.
Exactly. Yeah,
totally.
So,
cut to a flashback where Walt has now been born, and Michael's sitting there playing with him on the ground, but he and who we come to learn later is named Susan, are having a pretty intense conversation.
Things aren't rosy between the two of them.
No,
they mentioned he's like, we'll go to counseling if you want. Like I'm open to going to counseling. Whatever their problems are, they might be able to be fixed by counseling.
Yeah. She talks about how she's got a job offer in Amsterdam. She wants to move there to take the job. In fact, she's already taken the job. And Michael does not want to go and does not want his son being taken away from him.
Rightfully so.
Sure.
Yes. But also in the scene, she reveals that Michael hasn't really been working. And he says, construction, whatever, is slow.
Construction gets slow in the winter.
Sure. Let me ask you this then. Why not just move to fucking Amsterdam?
Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I thought, but maybe she didn't ask him. Maybe this was her way of being like, I'm going to sever ties.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess she, like...
I mean, if she's been a lawyer and the breadwinner, maybe she's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I guess... Yeah, no, I'm trying to replay that conversation in my head.
She never asked him.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed because male privilege, but... That's a really good point, Jenny. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I just assumed. See, that's why I'm glad we had you on.
But it's also sad because she's like, I'm going to take him. And he's like, no, I don't want you to take him. And she's like, but I make more money, so who do you think the court's going to choose? And it's like, it's just like, just bring him with. He's your nanny then.
Yeah, fucking pay him. Yeah, there you go. Put him on the payroll. Hire him. It's like, you haven't worked in 3 months. I'll pay you to watch your kid and not live with me. I'll get you an apartment so you can stay somewhere else in Amsterdam. I guess, and that was my question was, you're right, Jenny. She never asked him to come along. How come that wasn't an offer he would have made. Like, he's like, well, I'm not working. There's nothing preventing me from. Would it be possible to move to Amsterdam as a family? And then she could be like, well, no, pow, hammer.
Yeah,
I know. Well, and I think the reason it wasn't specified is because in the next flashback we find out more information.
Right.
But I'll wait until we get there.
Yeah. We cut back to the present time in the caves.
Mm-hmm.
Love of my life, son makes an appearance.
I thought I was the love of your life.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of room for,
Right.
she comes in, she tries to reassure Michael a little bit after the fight that he had with Locke and Walt and Boone, and Michael he expresses to her something that I feel like it would go a long way if he could express this to his son about Michael being afraid of Walt growing up on the island.
Yeah, the sense that we get from sort of all of the jumping around that Susan has done, because she goes to Amsterdam, then she goes to Italy, then Australia. So my guess is that Michael has this very, like, no, he's my kid. He's got to grow up in America, and he's got to have all these American experiences or whatever. And now this is like worst case scenario. Not only is he in a foreign place, he's in a foreign, like, dangerous place. So this is, for Michael, who's just been trying to get his son back all this time, now he's got him in the worst situation possible. So it's like, no, this isn't at all what I want.
On the flip side, could growing up on the island be a metaphor for being isolated, for growing up in a bad environment, or not the most ideal environment? We kind of get the sense from Michael that maybe he also didn't maybe have the best life growing up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Totally.
Something like that.
Well, like that one song says, they don't love you like I love you. Maps. Was that a lead in? I don't know. Sayid's got some fucking maps, and they've got some sort of triangle puzzle on them. The maps kind of can layer on top of each other, and Sayid thinks that there's some significance to the maps, and Jack's like, well, we don't even know if this is this island, which, thanks, Doc.
What else?
Yeah.
What other island would it be, Jack? Come on. Like,
We went from one island and brought it to this island.
Yeah.
Jack. Like, he managed to find a way to be more useless than Shannon was in the map party. Shannon was doing zero. Jack was negatively contributing.
Yeah, totally.
This could be any island. Yeah, it could, Jack. Fuck off.
Yeah. You got something better to look at right now?
Fucking dork.
You got to admit, the fact that these maps all layer on each other is pretty fucking spooky and dope, so I don't know.
Right?
But in the midst of this, as we talked about in this episode, people are just walking around. Michael's just walking around, and it's like, hey, fuck your maps.
Hey, you got a map there? Who gives a shit? I want to build a raft.
Readings for dipshits. Yeah, and he's basically like, "Oh, we're what are we gonna do? We're gonna go off on another adventure in the jungle where something out there is gonna try and kill us. Why aren't we trying to get off this island? We need to, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna build a raft." Which definitely seemed like an impulsive answer to his frustration.
Oh, definitely. I mean, even Jack. Was it Jack? He asked. He's like, "Do you want to help me?" And he's like, nah. I don't want to do that.
Classic opt-out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want my son to grow up on this weird island. Raft.
Raft.
I can't believe I didn't think of this before.
I'm a genius. And yeah, even Sayid says something about yeah, okay,
the chances of getting into a shipping lane, the rough seas. It's like, this. Okay, I want to do two things here. A, this is a dumb idea.
Yeah.
B, everybody's very condescending to Michael about how dumb it is.
I mean, yeah.
Except for Shannon. Because at one point, Shannon's just like, I'm going to help build a raft. And Boone's like, whatever.
Yeah. That's fine. Oh, we're gonna fucking get into that scene. Let me tell you.
Awesome.
Yeah. The last bit that happens in this little cave scene is Walt. We cut over to Walt looking at a Spanish comic that he scavenged from the plane. Michael comes up to him and tries to connect with him. He notices, the kid says, no, I like looking at the pictures. And that's sort of like you can see it in Harold Perrineau's just body language. He's like, oh, he latches onto this. He's like, you like pictures? You like art? I'm an artist, and so he like tries to connect with him. And when Walt doesn't immediately latch onto it, Michael's patience completely disappears.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, he's real father of the year.
I mean, he's never had to be a father, so he probably is kind of like a child himself. Yes. He's like, well, my kid doesn't like the fact that I do art. Well, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to rip this magazine out of his hand or whatever. So I don't know. I guess there's some sadness with Michael with just like, I feel for him. He wanted to be a dad. He didn't get the opportunity. And now he's just like trucking through mud, trying to do it. Yeah. And it's just not working.
Yeah, you can tell Michael definitely has this idea of like what fatherhood means and what masculinity means. And, parenting is not traditionally a one-person job. It can be done by one person, but like a lot of times it's a team effort or it takes a village, that sort of things. And Michael is jumping into the movie halfway through trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, and it's just, you can just watch him in real time making all the wrong decisions.
He's got zero practice, zero rehearsal, zero frame of reference for how to be a father. And so, of course he's going to suck at it. When you don't do something ever, you're going to suck at it.
Oh, yeah.
No, the first time I picked up a basketball, I was amazing at it.
And I'm super good at knife throwing, too, also.
Cut to a flashback at a payphone.
Yeah, Mike calls mom. I call her mom in the notes forever because we did not. They never say Susan's name till way later.
Especially when they're crib shopping or bassinet shopping, and he could just been like, come on, Susan, why don't you want to marry me? Like, it could have been a real playful moment, but we gotta wait till the third act to learn her fucking name.
So Michael's on the phone with her. There's what's the content of the call? Is he saying something like, hey, I should come visit? Or
because he wanted to talk to him, and she's like, he's 2 years old, he doesn't talk on the phone. And then she's like, well, it's not a really good time right now. Then he hears somebody else on the phone. And he's like, hey, what's baby, going on?
Are you talking to the loser ex of yours? Get off the phone. Let's go get some dinner. Let's
go. So then Susan lets Michael know that she's seeing someone, Brian Porter, who is the guy.
We got his first and last name within seconds of realizing that he existed.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting point.
We don't even see his face until so much later.
Do I just say male privilege for a third time? Anyways,
this is the theme. This is the theme of this episode. Male privilege.
This guest star, this recurring character in Michael's life, she doesn't need a name, but the dude she's fucking, Brian Porter.
We need to hear how great he is. So she talks about she's seeing somebody, and Michael's very upset by this. You're not going to just like take my son away from me. I'm going to come there. I'm going to get my son. And
then
whoever the stunt guy was, man, fucking sold.
That was a really good cut
away.
Because
it was super good.
A background, somebody made a cut in front of the phone booth, and Harold Perrineau disappears behind the background actor, and then the stunt player is there, and you don't see it, and
whoever the stunt guy was, though, looked like he got. I mean, getting hit by a car like is a specialty. Yeah. Like, there's people who specialize in that and like falling downstairs, but that dude looked like he got smoked by that car. I was like, holy shit, that looked good. Cut back to the island. Kate and Charlie are talking. Charlie's out of fucking focus. Charlie's looking for some stuff in Claire's bag, and he's looking for her diary. So Walt and Michael are sorting plane parts. Walt thinks it's punishment. That's just called doing projects with your dad when you're a child. I always thought that doing shit with my dad was punishment, and now those are the things I do to relax. So
Walt was just saying out loud the things I was thinking to myself and I would never dare say out loud when I was doing things with my father.
Right.
This feels like punishment. Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm just getting yelled at for holding the flashlight wrong. Cut to Kate and Charlie are when something goes missing very suddenly. Who does everybody on the island go to? The resident scumbag Sawyer.
Oh man. Oh,
it's his only scene.
Yeah.
Just like a minimal part.
Manages to act like a total dick during it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like he's got a point to a point. Like something's gone missing. They assume that Sawyer did it. That's a shitty thing to assume, but they don't. That didn't come out of a vacuum.
Yeah.
If a crime has been committed, maybe go ask the criminal.
Right. He's like, something goes missing, so I must have it, huh? That's real nice. Anyways, I did take it.
Yeah. Right, like,
by the way,
you have the rest of the shit. Like every time we come looking for something that's gone missing, you have it. Do you have this? Yes.
Yeah. They should probably ask if he's got Claire.
Right.
Hey, you got Walt in there too? Oh shit, you have another plane.
God. Their little fight's funny because Charlie punches him in like the injury.
That's really good. I like that because Charlie's a putz, and for him to actually get the upper hand on Sawyer, who could probably just pound him into the dirt, like that's pretty good. Walt and Michael are working, and Johnny Locke and Boone just go walking by. So Walt's like, I'm gonna go get some water. Okay, bye. Again, everyone's just walking around. Like Boone and Locke are just like, I guess we're going over here now. Walt is clearly going to follow after them, cut back to the caves. Shannon sort of confronts Boone here, which I did not like this scene.
Oh, really?
No.
Is it possibly because this is what's the word I'm looking for? Absolutely horrible scene?
Yeah. So
it's also a nothing scene.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a nothing scene.
Yes.
Nothing comes of it at all, except that you find out Shannon is eating disorder.
Right. But Boone uses that against her as like a talking point, basically. And I was like, you're a piece of shit.
Such a shitty thing to say to somebody you hypothetically care about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because they're step siblings, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing it.
Yeah. And so it's just... As soon as that fucking crack rolled out of his mouth, I was like, I don't care what you do the rest of the episode. You fucking suck.
So whilst in the caves, Walt goes up to hang out with my sweet baby boy, and John straight up is like, dude, we can't hang out. Your dad told me that he doesn't want us hanging out, so we gotta, you gotta listen to your dad. Like, he's your father, you gotta respect him. And Michael comes in, does not hear any of the nice things that John just said.
Nope. Once again, jumps to conclusions, doesn't listen, doesn't hear what anyone has to say.
Right. Precisely.
And he says that thing that you said earlier, Jenny. He says right to Walt, I don't want to hear it out of you.
Yeah.
Even though Walt was about to say, John just said we can't hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them were like, oh, we were respecting your wishes. And he's like,
no.
Don't tell me you're respecting my wishes. I'm jumping to conclusions again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. John tries to sort of diffuse the situation a little bit and being like, hey, listen, I was asking Walt to bring you this pencil, thought you could use it for your little project. I'm trying to respect your wishes. And then Michael says, if you talk to my son again, I'll kill you,
And the award for the most hollow threat ever given.
Yeah.
Michael Dawson.
I'm
please
sorry,
come on
man.
up.
If I got to put money on a fucking fight between you and Johnny Locke, I'm putting the money on John Locke.
John Locke walks away from that conversation carrying a suitcase that I'm pretty sure we all know is filled with knives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure John Locke was like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
that's neat.
I'm going to go over here now. Whatever. He just doesn't care.
I'm going to go back to doing dope shit over here.
Die mad, bro. I'll see you later.
Yeah. But then Michael and Walt get into a pretty heated argument, and you get a lot of other people in the cave that sort of see this happening but don't get involved. Michael burns Walt's comic. What does Walt say here? He says, I
think he says, "You're not my father," or something something really like gut wrenching to Michael.
He brings up about how Susan died. We knew that already in the podcast. Well, we learned that pretty early on in the show. Cut to a flashback. Michael is drawing in a hospital, recovering from getting fucking smoked by the car.
He's got not only a leg cast, but an arm stabilizer on, too. So he's just like drawing with his one free hand. The nurse, this is the medical practitioner in so far Lost lore that has the best bedside manner.
For sure. I was trying to read her little name tag there. We didn't get a name, but it said something about angels. It was like the only word I could make out, and I was waiting for it to be like the same hospital or whatever as Christian Shepherd, but
St. Sebastian's.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. Mom shows up. I watch the show with the subtitles on. This is a habit I got into. I watch almost all television shows with closed captioning on.
We get it. You can read.
In the subtitles for the off-camera dialogue that Susan gives, it just says "woman." Even the subtitles don't give her name until Michael actually says Susan.
And is that the first time we hear it? Oh my God, I guess I didn't even realize.
Wow.
It was brought into stark relief to me at that point when I looked up and I saw "woman." "Oh, hey, Michael, you look like shit," or whatever she said. It just said "woman." I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Women don't need names. They need to produce children. Anyways, moving on.
Anyway, here comes the richest woman we've ever met on the show.
No shit.
Because she's paying for him to get better. She's paying all of his medical bills. Already talked to the hospital administrator. Doesn't even sweat it.
So she doesn't want him to move to Amsterdam and pay him to be the nanny, but she'll pay for all of his medical bills later.
Yeah.
Because she feels guilty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was technically on my way to Amsterdam, so this is partially your fault. Like, I had left, as soon as I left the payphone, I was on my way to Amsterdam.
She's trying to butter him up. You know, she's like, "Hey, we'll take care of this. We'll sign some checks, whatever." But she didn't bring Walt intentionally.
Yeah.
Because she's clearly trying to kind of create some more distance because they are going to move to Italy, and Brian Porter, first and last name character, wants to adopt Walt.
Yeah. So just trying to cushion that blow. Fuck, man. Michael cannot catch a break.
No.
Yeah. Poor guy,
Well, and she says, are you holding on for him or for you?
Yeah.
Which is a really good fucking question.
Yeah.
It's a really loaded question. Yeah. It's like, as a viewer, it's like, we don't really even know.
We're seeing these snapshots, and like part of me is like, well, if you really, why'd you wait 2 years? You could have just gone to fucking Amsterdam at any time and seen your damn kid. But at the same time, we also know that he's broke, and not everybody can just fly internationally at the drop of a hat,
And we don't really know, because between the flashback of her saying, "I'm going to Amsterdam, the courts would side with me anyway," and then it was the phone call?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So we don't know if maybe there was some sort of custody thing there.
That's
maybe he was barred from even seeing Waltz. We don't even know.
Yeah.
We can headcanon all we want.
Okay. Well, we'll get into Guardium at LoLdom after she dies. Cut back to the island. Hurley's like, "Hey, your son's gone again."
Hurley coming in with the one-liner and then out.
Got to get back to the golf tournament.
Yeah.
He's got to win some deodorant, man.
Hurley's sides were just on a post-it note for this entire episode, and he does no wrong. Love Hurley so much.
Michael heads out to where Locke and Boone are.
Yep.
Because he thinks that's where he went. Good idea. He's not there.
No.
You can see in his face that he wants to ask Locke to help him find him, but Locke volunteers to help find him before he can get past his pride or his whatever to get to it. Because I mean, this is the type of thing that goes past the personal problems that the two of them are having. Like, Walt's not like officially missing.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Sure. You got to wait at least 48 hours.
You gotta wait 48 hours, and then you gotta go file a missing persons report with Jack, and then
And then go.
And then he's got to finish boning all the ladies and some of the dudes. So cut to Charlie and Kate. Oh, for fuck's sake.
These are my notes here. Charlie thanks Kate for helping. She didn't do anything.
No. She stopped him from getting his ass kicked.
He knows Sawyer and Kate, like, I don't know, Sawyer likes
Yeah.
Kate. Like, that's from the very beginning. So Charlie's probably, I mean, Charlie didn't even ask her. She just kind of came up while he was digging through stuff. And then they both just were like, oh, we gotta go find Sawyer.
Classic Kate. Just like, nobody asked, but she's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I guess she didn't really help, but she did.
I mean, you're right. Kate being around puts Sawyer a little bit on ease because, he's got the bedroom eyes for her.
But so then she's like, okay, well, you have a good one there, friend. And then have y'all ever seen those videos where they take a kid and they put him in a room with like a piece of candy or like an Oreo or something, and they're like, okay, now if you don't eat that and I come back in 5 minutes, you get another Oreo. And it's supposed to be this like, understanding of sort of consequence and patience and
delayed gratification.
Exactly. Things like that. Charlie fidgets with the diary in the same way that those kids will often fidget with like the thing that they're not supposed to consume.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm just going to touch her. I'll put it over here, right? Or if I won't look at my object permanence will like, somehow. And it's funny for about 5 seconds, but it goes on for like 45.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious the whole way through. I just because he opens it and he puts it away and then he like looks at it and then he grabs it and then he's like, wait, no. And it's just I don't know. Maybe it's Dominic Monaghan's like portrayal of it and the fact that it was a single shot, which I think sometimes makes it feel like you're uncomfortable. So it's kind of like this is funny. And then he like finally puts it in the bag and walks away. And I think he has like a huff. Like he huffs when he does it. And I thought it was funny. James and I were laughing through the whole thing.
It's funny, and he does a good job with the physical comedy of it because they just rolled the camera and said, fucking go nuts.
Yeah, the only thing I wrote was that, like this was a rule of three thing for me. Like, look at it once, put it down. Look at it again, put it down. Third time you put it in the bag, then the scene cuts. That's what I was thinking to myself.
Yeah.
And I was
or like he leaves and then it's sitting there and then he comes back a minute later and grabs it. Like,
that would have been fun.
So, things are always funnier when they come from off screen.
Cut to the jungle. Walt and Vincent are just tromping away, and something is following them. Finally, a little bit of payoff to this dangerous jungle. Vincent snaps from his collar, and then we cut to a flashback.
Yep, flashback. We are in
Australia. Finally, we're in Australia. We didn't even need to. All right, I lost it. We didn't even.
I don't think you guys are very strong Australian accents there.
Shut up, Jenny.
Hey, I'm not much better, and I'm not gonna try.
No, okay. Give us your best Australian accent.
Yep.
Go.
Oh
You
my
gotta.
gosh, no.
You gotta.
I don't even know where to
Just
start.
give me a solid "a dingo ate my baby."
Yeah, or that's not a knife.
That's not a knife.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
We cut to just Walt staring at
The dog.
Vincent. Like, he's like, I know this dog's gonna talk. Like, listen, I love my animals and I look at them very longingly. Not like that though.
Right. From 4.5 inches away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, confused as to what a dog is. But yeah, he's just kind of, I guess, hanging out with the dog.
Yeah. Not doing his homework.
Yeah. And Susan and what's his face?
Brian Porter. How did you forget?
How could you forget?
Yeah.
We just learned Susan's name, and we've known his the whole episode.
Right. So they're having a conversation about some work related stuff, and Susan reveals that she's just not feeling great.
A little fluey.
Yeah. Then some weird shit happens.
Then I wasn't really listening to what Walt was saying, but he's trying to get their attention. You're not looking. You're not looking.
Yes.
You're not looking. And then a bird hits the window.
Yeah, and we get the feeling, because I believe it's the same bird that he was learning about.
I believe I believe you're right. He was like, he had a book of birds, and it was like that bird on the front page, on the page.
Yeah, it's the bronze cuckoo or something like that. And Brian gets a weird feeling because, like, Walt's really not expressing any emotion other than just like, oh, that's a dead bird. Weird. And then he looks back and he's like, oh, is that the same bird that he was just fucking rattling on about? But, like, at the same time, kids do that all the time. Kids are like, hey, look at this. Look at this.
Man. Kids are super weird.
Look at me. Look at me. My feet are on the ground. Like,
Mummy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I just wrote Brian gives Walt a weird look, and kids are weird.
Yeah.
Kids are weird.
So cut back to the jungle. Walt's running around looking for Vincent, and he hears something kind of growl. Cut to another flashback.
Yep. This is in New York. Brian Porter.
This is New York.
Brian Porter arrives at Michael's apartment and tells Michael that Susan has died. She had some sort of blood condition.
Yeah.
Or something. Rest in peace, Susan. We hardly knew you.
Yeah.
Hardly knew you.
No, in so many different ways. Brian tells Michael that Susan wanted to give custody of Walt back to Michael.
Yeah. And Michael sees through that pretty fucking quick.
Yeah. Michael immediately realizes this is bullshit.
And then Brian's just like, okay, man, you're right, but the kid's weird, so like,
this
can't you just take him back?
This part was not quite as sickening as Boone's
it's
eating
pretty
disorder
close.
joke, but it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
He admits that he never wanted to be a father. He only agreed to adopt Walt because Susan wanted him to. He just said, I hated that, because earlier in the episode Susan was like, Brian wants to, and then we find out that he was just saying whatever he could so that he could get Susan, not taking into consideration that there's a fucking kid involved.
Yeah, it's so many people have been so cavalier with sort of this child's upbringing up to this point. And it's like, well, I don't want you to be the father. I want this guy to be the father. And that guy's, well, I don't want to be the father, but I do want to get laid regularly, so I guess I will. And then they're like, oh, just kidding. Now you got to be the father. And it's like, everyone's really fucking bad at this parenting thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and like with Brian Porter.
First name, last name.
First name, last name. I mean, I'm sure he probably thought, we have nannies, because they even said, like, Susan said, oh, Walt's back with the nanny. And it's like, he probably just figured he'd never have to raise Walt.
Right.
And now that the time came, he is just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, poor kid.
Yeah.
No wonder he just, like, wants to hang out with Locke and just, like, doesn't want anything to do with anyone else.
Because Locke actually acts like a dad.
Right.
Well, and Locke even said, he's like, I treat him like an adult. You still treat him like a child. So it's like, well, I'm sure Walt picks up on that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely correct. So, yeah, he's like, here's a plane ticket, or here's the plane tickets. One will get you there, and then here's some tickets back, and here's some money. Just get this weird kid out of my life, because what does he say? He says, there's something about him. Things happen. He's different.
Yeah. And, you know,
just the one bird. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
The one bird, and this guy's like, I'm out.
Things happen. I saw a bird hit a window in Australia in our house that's basically made out of glass. That was really way too weird for me.
Right.
Here's the kid. Bye.
And then there's this camera that weirdly pushed in on his face when he looked at me afterwards. It's like, I just something's weird about
Did
that.
he bring the camera? I don't know what happened. Cut back to the island.
Yep. John Locke and Michael are catching up to Walt. They can hear him in the distance. They can hear the noise.
They hear Walt, yelling for help.
Yep. And then we immediately cut back to a flashback.
Yeah.
These cuts at the end are really like...
It's kind of jarring.
We just felt like it was kind of misplaced. It was just like, why are we going back and forth so much? It's like, it just did not feel like it was needed.
Yeah. But some other unnamed woman...
The
nanny. Oh, I don't. Is she? I don't know.
I don't know.
She gives Michael a box of Susan's effects, and it's got a bunch of letters. We come to find out later that those are the letters that Michael has been writing for Walt ever since he was born.
Then we come back to the jungle.
Polar bear.
Walt is trapped inside a mangrove tree by a polar bear. Holy shit.
Dude, polar bears are fucking huge.
They're, yeah.
I don't know if those vines are going to stop a fucking polar bear.
It'll stop the first polar bear because the first polar bear is not real.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
No, it was real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't stop the CG one. It wouldn't stop the man in the puppet suit when you're in the close-ups. Or it would stop them, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Man in puppet suit at least looked decent. The wides were pretty egregious.
Yeah. And, like, I know it's 2005, but, like...
Hey, maybe don't write polar bears into your fucking ABC television show then. I don't know.
It's set on a tropical island.
Fucking... If you know it's gonna look like diggity dog shit, maybe don't write it into the episode. I don't know.
Do the Jaws thing. Don't show it as much.
Ah.
Yeah.
Except for toward the end when he's getting eaten by a shark and he's like, oh no, he's gonna eat me with his big jaws. So polar bear. Cut back to it.
Yeah, come back to Australia. Walt and Michael meet for not the first time, but since Walt was an infant.
Yes, interesting scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walt doesn't know who he
Yeah,
is.
straight up,
Michael
does not recognize him in any capacity.
No, and Michael's just like, I'm your
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm your father.
And it's just. Yeah, and it's just very hard for Michael to get out because it's like all the emotions of like he wanted him, but then he wasn't involved, so he kind of probably grew accustomed to not having him or wanting him, and now he has him. It's like I kind of sympathize with Michael a little bit, even though he's the worst.
Yeah, he wanted to be a father so badly, and then he wasn't able to, and so he's probably dealt with that. That was 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, however many. It was enough years for like you said, Michael to get used to not being a father, not thinking about being a father, not honing those skills, how to interact with a child, how to be a role model, how to be a confidant, but also a leader, and now he's gotta.
Yeah,
he's super not ready.
And there's a sense of like immaturity with Michael too that you see with Walt because he doesn't know how to handle himself around a kid who in his mind is supposed to listen to him no matter what, but he's not. Right. So it's like it's a very interesting like dynamic once you dive into it.
Right. Yeah, and Walt's while he's a child, we for his age, he's pretty mature, I would say, in a sense. So he's like, no, why the fuck am I going to listen to you? Like, yeah, you're my biological father, but you're not like my dad. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Well, he grew up with Brian Porter.
Brian Porter.
So
Brian Porter.
What the fuck? What the fuck's Michael's last name? We haven't said it once.
It's Dawson.
Whatever.
Is it Dawson? Okay.
But I don't know. I kind of wanted him to like be obviously I was like, maybe just introduce yourself instead of just dropping, I'm your dad. But he does a good job covering up for Brian being like, well, I thought Brian adopted me. He's like, well, he doesn't drop the shoe that like Brian's fucking dropping you like baggage, kid. He's like, oh man, it's a legal thing. I'm your guardian. He does an amazing job at just seamlessly rolling into that.
It was really good.
Like, that's your first time being a dad right there. That's the first step.
He's got some decisions to make in this scene about what to sugarcoat and what not. And the one that he absolutely could not sugarcoat was the Brian doesn't want you. Yeah. Because that would have fucked him up. That would have fucked Walt up hard.
Yeah, big time.
Right. And like you said, that's his first time being his dad. Second time is being like, this dog is yours now.
You want to start making some memories, kid? Let's steal a dog.
Also, it probably was like, I need help with this kid, and a dog will distract him. So, like, it was too
because but part of me is also like, Brian might have also wanted to offload the dog too, because he's like, I don't want to take care of anything. But also Michael just being like, we're walking out here with this fucking dog.
We're taking this fucking dog. Like this. Look at this lab. I mean, that's a beautiful dog. This dog's fucking handsome.
Oh, you gonna tell this kid? Oh, maybe I'll tell this kid some shit if you don't tell him that you can have the dog. There, Brian Porter.
Come back to the jungle. John Locke and Michael are getting ready to rescue Walt.
It's a real Hardy Boys kind of rescue.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, where do they learn how to rescue people? Like, fucking like Donkey Kong? Why are they climbing across a fucking girder? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. And then the like vine rope that looks like it's gonna snap or whatever.
Oh my
Whatever. I mean,
Just Indiana Jones right down, like with it. I'm just
right,
like,
totally.
okay.
throw me the knife so I can throw the knife to the kid so he can stab the bear just in case. The whole thing. Wow. Yeah, that was something else.
Yeah.
They get him. They save him.
Got him.
So,
And then the polar bear takes off his mask, and it's Brian Porter. When did he get there?
I changed my mind. I do want to be a father. Give me that kid back.
I'm gonna give you a big bear hug. Where the fuck was Boone during all this?
I thought I
know.
thought that too. I think Boone didn't get invited or didn't volunteer when John said, "Let's go find your boy." I think that they left and Boone was like, "Oh well, I guess the field trip with John's canceled."
Boone's like, I guess I'll just play with these ball bearings again.
Boone just reminds me of like the last kid picked on a team.
Yes.
He's just like sitting there like, oh, I guess I'll just sit here.
No, you
wait.
guys had an odd number. Makes sense. I'll just wait till somebody.
That's fine. I guess I'll just sit
Yeah.
out.
Oh my god.
We cut to not a flashback, just later that day.
Yeah.
They returned to the survivors area, and Michael somehow has located the box. I guess sometime over the past 20-something days, he's located his own luggage or his own carry-on. He's located the box that Susan gave him, and we open it up. We find out that maybe that feeling of wanting to be a father and wanting to be in Walt's life never left Michael.
Yeah.
For at least an element of it, because he's been continuing to write through him throughout. And so we don't know how recently the letters in the box go, but he shows him one from his second birthday, and it's it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, I don't even know if it's necessarily the feelings of him being a dad never went away. I mean, I think you're right. He dealt with it. And then when he went, because like he got that box from the nanny right before they boarded that flight. So he literally just recently, like 27 days ago, was probably like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that Walt didn't want to know me. It's he never knew me. And it's like, then I feel like those feelings of being a father overwhelmed him. And it's like, now he's dealing with all the emotions of that.
Well, he's having to undeal with what he had already dealt with. He's like undoing all this partitioning that he had created for himself.
Yeah.
There's also something interesting that Walt has to sort of deal with mentally. So he's like, why did my mom keep these from me? You know, so his image of his mother is skewed from what it once was. But then Michael, doing a pretty good fatherly thing, was like, well, she didn't get rid of him. She
could have threw him away, but she didn't. Yeah.
Right, because he could have been like, yeah, fucking bitch, who knows why.
Right.
But it's a nice little moment.
Yeah, he has like fatherly instincts. Like he's not bad at it. It's just learning.
He's bad at it. I'll give it. I'll say that he's bad at it.
I mean, he has moments where it like comes naturally, and then he has moments where it's like, I don't know how to deal with this kid who's being fucking tantrum and not listening to me. You know. Yeah,
absolutely.
Elsewhere in the survivors area, Charlie, he's reading the diary. he couldn't. The delayed gratification didn't. Whatever. He's reading it. He's trying to find out how Claire feels about him, and she thinks he's sweet. But then he spots something. He's like, oh my god, she wrote about this dream. And this is where we hear about the Black Rock. He goes over to Sayid and he's like, look, she had a dream about the Black Rock. And then Said's like, oh, the Black Rock was on the papers. And it's like, maybe the Black Rock's where she's at.
That's the end of that.
That's it.
It's like, Claire, okay, like dreams are important. Dreams are our brain's way of trying to contextualize all this stuff that we see throughout our day, our week, whatever, stuff like that. So like dreams are important, stuff like that. So that's cool. But like, what?
Whatever.
The map might not even be of this island.
Yeah, now her dreams are like premonitions of this is where I'm being held captive.
I had that weird dream again about that place that I'm going to be kidnapped and held captive from 6 days from now. What?
Yeah. Cut to the jungle.
Yep. John Locke has fashioned himself a dog whistle and is trying to locate Vincent because Vincent went missing during the bear attack. And
and is he with
Oh,
Boone?
yeah.
Boone. Yep.
He's so Boone's back. Okay, because Boone's just like, what are you doing? What's
Boone
going on?
and Walt are competing to see who's going to be the president of the John Locke fan club.
Yep.
So Boone, this is what I was imagining in my head. Like, John made the whistle to try and find Vincent, and then he thought to himself, he's like, oh shit, I left Boone up by that tree. And so he went out and got him, and now he's walking Boone back to the survivor's camp while also looking for the dog. That's what happened in my head.
Boone's just been staring up at the sky. What happened to the sun? They hear something rustling in the woods. And who is it?
Oh no, is it the polar bear?
Nope.
No.
It's Clay.
Claire. It's Claire.
That was pretty. That was a pretty good Claire, Jenny.
Yeah.
Claire.
That's all right.
And then that's it.
That's
Slam
it.
cut to the
Boom.
graphic. End of episode.
Holy shit.
Special.
Yes, very special episode, indeed.
So let's do some end of episode stuff because there's a lot that happened here, and then we'll get into our missing piece. So, did we like it? Was this a good episode of television? Was this a good episode of Lost? What do you guys think?
I think it's a filler episode through and through. That's all it is. It's a filler.
It feels like always the C plot are always filler. There was some nice moments that I think were genuinely well written, but I'm like, what is this really? I don't know.
I mean, the only thing that carries us to the next episode is Claire coming back. And it's like, okay, if she didn't come back, this episode wouldn't carry us.
Yeah.
Like, story-wise. It's character building, which is important because Lost in of it itself as a show is all about character building with the flashbacks and everything. So it is character building, but in terms of having a good balance of that and plot, it's...
But a lot of times we learn more about the characters. We knew Michael was kind of a shitty dad, and we also learned in the flashbacks that he's a shitty dad. I don't know.
Nothing new, you know?
Yeah. Adam?
I almost titled my episode recap, look, it's a filler episode.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
The problem that I had with the episode, I want to say that I wouldn't go as far to say as I disliked this episode. I certainly didn't like it. The thing that was missing, it's like you can't have strong feelings about filler unless you hate filler.
No, I mean it's kind of like a nothing. You know, it's kind of like it was fine.
The biggest problem for me was in the flashbacks we have no context for Michael and Susan's relationship, and I was racking my brain as to.
It's told, not shown.
And if there were other episodes where we delve more into Susan and Michael's relationship, and I really don't think we do. I think that they just glaze over the we went through some rough times, and then it's just like it moved so fast that it just. I was like, if you were going to move this fast, why bother talking about it at all?
Right.
Why not start the story of Michael's flashback in him picking up Walt at the thing, and having the conversation that he had with Brian Porter in New York, in Australia, and be like, hey, I'm here to pick up my son because my wife, his mom died, whatever. I don't know. It's just like that was the biggest problem for me. It was like there was just not enough meat to the character stuff in the flashback. Yeah, I got to the end. I was like, okay, Michael's a shitty dad. Yeah, he's got reasons, but he's still a shitty dad, and I already knew that.
Yeah.
Susan doesn't come off as the bad guy at all. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't want, and I'm not saying that she should, but the struggle is Michael trying to get back to his son, and the antagonist to that is Susan, and we're giving no reason to dislike her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's not the bad guy. She's just an obstacle.
Right. So if she's not the bad guy, make Michael more of the bad guy.
Or something. Make somebody a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree. I think she is the bad guy. You know, she didn't ask him to come to Amsterdam. She threatened legal action to take him away through the fact that she's a breadwinner in front of his face to, like, put him down. Took Walt and then started dating her boss, also kind of highly inappropriate. And then at the end of the day, married him, took his rights away because she's like, this guy wants to adopt him, and then never gave him, Walt, the letters. Like, I think she's
that was the shittiest thing she did, was not give the letters. Yeah. That really didn't sit well with me.
Like, I didn't get any context as to why she wanted to bar Michael from Walt's life completely. Yeah. Like, that part was the confusing part. It's like, you seem to feel for Michael, yet you're taking Walt away and then not giving any giving Walt any life with Michael and just pretending like Michael doesn't exist.
That's the perfect way to boil that down, Jenny. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I didn't understand why she felt that way when clearly she had this, like, connection from, like, shopping for cribs. Like, it's not like he knocked her up and she's like, well, I'm just here. It's like she seemed to genuinely care. So there was no shift in telling me what changed.
And I think, JP, that if they would have did what you suggested, make Michael the bad guy, if we see Michael's a shitty partner, then we get motivation for Susan's actions.
Right.
So, there was just stuff missing. Yeah. For me.
Yeah. And you know, Michael wanted to be involved, so there was no motivation.
Right.
So
we have all of the fallout. We don't have the catalyst.
There we go.
So.
Yeah. All right. On to my favorite part of the show. Lost MVP and Lost Forever. So MVP, this is your favorite person from the episode, minus your memories of anything else from the show, minus your context. Just who is your favorite person from this 45 minutes of television? Jenny, who is your MVP?
Because it's a filler episode, I'm gonna go with the polar bear. He's just trying to eat. He's hungry. You know, he's just hanging out and being like, hey, there's this little kid here. Seems like a good meal. That's fair. Know? And then he just gets stabbed. It's like, what the heck?
Hey, that's just nature, baby.
Yeah, otherwise, like, everyone else, I was just like, there's nothing really happening. I guess if I have to pick a person.
You don't have to.
No.
JP has in the past selected an automobile with a retractable seatbelt.
That's true.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, polar bear.
Okay.
MVP.
That's fantastic. Well, to go along with the theme, mine is the bronze cuckoo bird, native to New Zealand and Australia. Listen, that bird wasn't doing nothing wrong. Everybody comes off as kind of a shithead in this episode, minus Hurley, I guess, but he doesn't have a lot to do.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what? This bird is truly an innocent victim, and I think that they deserve a little bit of recognition. So the bronze cuckoo bird. Adam?
Good pick.
Adam, are you going to go with the animal route?
I am not.
You can just say Vincent.
I'm going.
You can just
I
say
could have gone for Vincent. I thought about Vincent, and that would have been a trifecta. But no, I'm going with my my age-old comrade, Jin.
What? Jin, who's not even.
Because you know what Jin is doing during all of this?
He's fishing.
Yeah.
Fishing.
He's tending to the needs of the camp.
That's perfect. Oh my god.
That's amazing. So animals and someone who wasn't even in the episode.
Yeah, exactly. That says a lot about this episode.
I love it. I love
it. Lost Forever. Who's the worst? Who sucks shit? Who could you do without? Jenny, who is? You gotta light the torch, and they're gonna be voted off the island. Who is your Lost Forever?
I mean, I was going to pick Susan because she is the worst, but if I have to pick somebody on the island.
Or just from the episode, sorry. It can be anybody from the episode.
Well, I mean, Susan, I thought she was, like, the worst, but also, like, Boone and Shannon combo.
Oh, man. It's not great.
Just, like, pointless and just
icky.
Get him off. Yeah, and icky and just, like... Yeah. Like, the only thing Boone's got going is the gorgeous blue eyes. Like, I mean, if he just stood there and didn't talk, fine. I'm happy. But, like...
Ian Somerhalder is, like, that's his fucking skill set. That dude is handsome.
Yeah.
Oh, he's handsome. He can do... What is the... James is going to kill me. I don't remember this. I've only seen it once. The Zoolander.
Blue Steel.
Yeah, Blue Seal. Like, he can do that, and he's fine.
Absolutely.
JP, what's your loss forever?
Listen, in an episode where a lot of people show a lot of their shitty cards between Boone, Michael, fucking first name last name, Brian Porter, I think that there's only one clear pick here, and it's Claire. Listen.
Oh my god, I want to know why.
Hater.
How dare you show up in the last 5 seconds and be the most interesting part of this episode? You can kiss my ass.
Backstory, are you not a Claire fan based on what you've seen so far? Is that just is it okay? You said no previous notion of any other episode though. You even said that to me.
I have cinematic immunity.
Sure. It's your podcast.
And the rules are a little
loosey goosey.
They're suggestions.
I mean that's fair. I mean she did show up and she is the most interesting part.
Anyways, Adam, lost forever.
My loss forever is this is an easy one, Brian Porter.
There we go.
The thing at the end of the saying anything you can or want to get partner. That's toxic, but the I will adopt your son. That's the most toxic thing you can say.
Yeah.
Just to hook up or whatever. That was fucked. I really didn't like that. That said, I want to give an honorable mention to Charlie, Susan, John Locke, Boone, Michael, Walt, Jack, Shannon. That was everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
It took me longer. It took me almost as long to select my loss forever as it did to watch the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of people come out looking good.
I spent probably 20 minutes trying to figure it out.
That's absolutely fair. So we have to cover one more little thing here before we sojourn. And I think we can get through this in about 10 seconds. So we had another one of our installments of the webisodes.
Yeah,
the Mobisodes. The Mobisodes. We have another installment of the Mobisodes. What do we call it? These are the Lost Missing Pieces. Yep. So this is our Lost Missing Pieces. This is the envelope. This starring Juliet and Amelia. This premiered January 21st, 2008 on Verizon, whatever the fuck that means, and January 28th, 2008 on ABC.com. Yeah, so whatever.
I didn't even know these things existed. Like when you sent it to me, I was like, is this a scene or what is this?
That's what this one was. This was just clearly a scene that was cut from an episode.
There's 10 of these, I think, all told, and they aired. They bridged a gap in between, I believe, the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4. Yeah. But they were never on TV. They were never on.
They were mobisodes.
They were mobisodes. They were made to be played on phones. They stole Quibi's idea fucking 15 years before it happened.
Yeah.
And it was just as good of an idea then as it was now.
Hey, no, TikTok has figured out how to make it work.
That's true.
So
it's 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's one of the shorter ones.
It's Juliet is making some fucking muffins.
Yeah, and blowing it.
Not very well.
Must have been real busy elsewhere because they're real burnt.
Yeah. She burns her hand.
Yep.
And some woman walks in.
Yep.
Amelia
apparently.
Whomever this is. And she's like, oh, something's wrong. And Juliet's like, well, I think we're in trouble.
We're in big trouble.
She says something about, does she say something about him? Or is he making you cry or something? And then
So Amelia's like, oh, did Ben finally tell you? Or Juliet was like, he finally told me. She's and she's tearing up, and she's she's like, oh, does he make you cry? Because we're alluding to the fact that Ben has feelings for her because he told her how he felt or something like that.
We don't know nothing about that, but yeah, that could be.
Well, no, that's just what I'm gathering.
Yeah, that's the illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, in the video it was like he finally told you how he felt. So I'm assuming there's feelings there. Whomever Ben may be.
No, we know who Ben is.
Yeah.
Oh no, we haven't met Ben, but we met Henry Gale.
But we also met Ben.
We also met Ben. I just love Henry Gale so much.
Gale. But yeah, so Amelia's just like, well, you're crying, and she's like, well, he doesn't make me cry.
I burned my. She's like,
I burned my hand.
That doesn't make you cry either.
That doesn't make you cry either. Yeah, something that.
Have you ever burned your hand?
Juliet's tough.
Yeah, like all the time, and it hurts, and I cry sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes when things hurt, that you cry. Yeah, fucking Amelia.
Absolutely.
She's from that older generation that wants you to hide your feelings and just keep, just like soldier through.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then Juliet quickly goes, enough of this. Turn.
Wait.
Let's talk about something
We're supposed to do something, I think, real quick.
And then she's like, did you promise? Hey, I got a super secret. Don't tell the secret. I got something under the fucking spoons.
What is it?
I don't know.
Ding dong.
Oh, God. We get interrupted. Lost missing pieces. It was an envelope. The titular envelope. We don't find out what was in it. Let's play a quick trivia here. Guesses as to what is in the envelope. JP, go.
A autographed photo of Jaleel White.
Good guess. Jenny, go.
Nudes.
There we go. The correct answer, an autographed nude of Jaleel White.
Whoa!
So, points to everybody.
Yes.
That's awesome. This provided nothing.
We watched a couple of them, and they don't give us
much.
They're just like little character moments, but this one, he wasn't even that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to remember, like, from watching the show, I'm like, does this?
No.
I don't even remember. I don't even know. It's like,
this is
so out of
this
place.
is a legitimate guess, and I don't know if it's a guess based on a different season 3 episode we've seen, but there's a good chance that inside that envelope is Ben's back X-ray.
Oh.
Showing his tumor.
That makes sense why they're in big
right,
trouble.
so it's like, Ben's got a tumor, and we're in trouble.
That's right.
Because we don't have a back surgeon.
Which reminds me, we need to do our sponsor for the episode, back medicine.
My back medicine.
Do you need a backiotomy? Try back medicine. Yeah, that's it, guys. We did it. We got through it all.
We did it.
Jenny,
yes, did it.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
for
you.
going on this journey with us. Thank you for bringing your insight and your charm. Where we always like to ask people if there's something they want to plug at the end of the episode. I know you just finished editing. Was it a short film or was it a feature film?
I edited a short film called Ships in the Night that was in some film festivals. I'm not sure where it can be found online, honestly, but I did edit the trailer for a movie that just came out called See You Next Christmas. So you can find the trailer on YouTube and you can order the movie on all the digital platforms. It's called See You Next Christmas. It's a really cute rom-com. It was a fun project.
Well, I'm going to go out and watch the trailer 500 times. So pump those fucking numbers up.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you guys.
This was a blast.
This was so fun. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to listen to it.
We'll have you on a bunch again and then just not have your husband back on.
Just feel like they like me better.
Sorry.
Everybody who's going to be on the show again, take one step forward. James, not so fast.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see here. If you're trying to be lost with us, next time we're going to be watching season 2, episode 3, Orientation, featuring Beefcake McBeefcakerton Johnny Lack. Yeah. So why don't you sound excited about that, Adam?
No, that was like a sultry. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm down to clown with JL because fucking I don't ever want to clown around with Michael and Walt again.
Yeah. We can
honestly, when you guys told me the episode to watch, I was like, I got a Michael episode.
We'll get you a better one next time around.
Cool. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yeah, I'm JP.
I'm Adam.
Do you have any idea what's going on in this show?
Nope.
Me neither.
Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.